Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I have a very good friend of mine here that we are about to talk about some really good stuff. If you guys could leave a like down below, if you guys are enjoying the video, if you guys could also subscribe before we start. And yeah, so are you ready? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So can you tell us about your college education, where you were, what's your major, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I studied political science. Political science basically focus on theories and practices of government and political and local, state, and national, even international levels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was because it actually started when I was a kid. I was really into government because I thought government, in my opinion, defends and looks out for its people.
Mm-hmm.
But as time passed by, I still believe like that. But after college, and I started seeing things. Well, actually, during college, I started seeing things a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm more older, now I definitely don't feel that's like that. So how I see it now is, in order to get any type of help, and I'm not referring help like welfare, none of that. That's not the help. I feel like for a government to even get government's attention and anything, you need to have a lot of money, and I think that's unfair
Okay, yeah, that's true.
because we all pay taxes. So I feel we should be treated equally.
Right.
Um, I also feel that government, because they already have money, they don't care about the little person, so they'll raise more taxes.
Mm-hmm.
They'll cut or limit programs. And what I learned when I was in school, I learned government's supposed to help you. Government has these rules for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt, oh, we shouldn't question them because they know what they're doing. Well, now I found out
Right.
that the people are making these decisions. I don't know why I saw them like this, but I saw them as not normal people. But then as
Can
I
you
got
can you
older, I was like,
explain
wait a
why you
minute, they
think
are
that?
normal. Because I figured to be in government you have to be someone very like powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're in school and you actually pay attention to how they explain this, these are powerful people.
Mm-hmm.
They have some type of influence, but if you look at their background, they also have a lot of money. And so some of them, it's rare that you see anybody that goes up there that's like what I would say normal people like us
Mm-hmm.
to make it to the top. It's very rare.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
And so most of the people, either they have somebody that's already in the political world and they have, a hand me down where they'll help them get in somehow and pay for their campaigns.
Right.
What I did notice, people who are normal like us, who tried, sometimes are successful, sometimes it weren't, sometimes it was because of the money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the ones who had the hand me downs, those are the ones that made it in. And I think it shouldn't be like that. I think they should give the opportunity to everybody, and I think they should evaluate how they're teaching politics. And I feel that politics is another form of dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I see it like that is because you can't question the government without getting in trouble.
Right.
They say you have freedom of speech, but then you don't. It's very limited of what you can say.
Censorship.
I
Right.
feel I feel that freedom of speech, as long as you're not, this is what I don't understand. As long as you don't threaten that you're gonna like hurt somebody, you're fine. That's what they say. But then if you say something that's like against them, like if you say, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that policy, then problems come up.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a lot of enemies. So where's the freedom of speech on that?
Right.
And I feel that we should all have the freedom to say
Yeah.
how we feel, and as long as we're not harming ourselves or anybody else, that should not matter.
Right. Could I interrupt you for a second? I do
Hmm.
believe what you say is completely true because as you see back in history, a lot of except Obama, he was raised in Chicago. I'm pretty sure his education it was in Chicago and all that stuff. But if you could see back in the history from George Washington to now, and, until Donald Trump, a lot of these men are wealthy men, white wealthy men. A lot of them, like Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, a lot of these Abraham Lincoln, I believe he was also wealthy. I don't know. A lot of these white men were very wealthy. So if you want to get into a political career, it's gonna be very hard for you to go into that. So especially if you want to go into the Senate, into being a governor, or like the Constitution, all that stuff, or even being a Supreme Court judge, all that stuff, going into that, or even trying to become the president of the United States, that is going to be very difficult because a lot of it, first of all, the system is corrupt, and you're gonna have you're gonna have to be a lot of, you're gonna have to have a lot of money. You have to be wealthy, and being able to compromise your values. I mean, right? So, you're saying is completely true. I absolutely believe that. So I just wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I see it because, like you said, based on history and how I ended up discovering of that was, I started doing a lot of research and I noticed even if you're not in politics, if you have money, they listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you donate money at colleges, you're favored. Oh, we can get this kid in. Okay, and that's, to me, that's like an indirect of I feel bribery. So okay, because I've seen it done many times, and I heard stories about this a lot, and where people donate money or people do this, but there's always something in return, and it shouldn't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel that us as people should, I guess, stand up against it because I feel the way how things are going, especially in this country, I feel like they're trying to wipe off the middle class and just focus it with rich and poor.
Yeah.
And I think that's not right. I think there should be middle class people who want to be middle class. I understand there's poor people and I understand there's rich, but I feel that the rich people, they became rich because they got rich off the poor people.
Mm-hmm.
So that, to me, right there, you can see that that's not fair. And I noticed with a poor person trying to get a business, it seemed like there's so many regulations for them. But with a rich person, it seems there's a lot of loopholes or there's a lot of stuff they can get away with. And I think that's not good at all. I think that has to be stopped. And I feel like I see nothing wrong. If they have money, raise the taxes up a little bit for the richer people. They won't do that. I don't understand why. I heard they did at one point, but it seemed like they all have an issue. I don't have an issue if you're a billionaire. Raise up the taxes. And why raise up the taxes more in the middle class that are trying their best to stay middle class and then raising it up to the poor who barely can afford what they have now?
Right.
So, yeah.
Actually, now that you're talking about that, I do. There's a time where Joe Biden, I don't know if you I don't know. He said some things that are, weird.
But, I disagreed with him with a lot of stuff.
But a lot of stuff he said is like, let's tax the rich, let's tax the wealthy, because the poor are paying taxes. They're the taxpayers, but like, what about the rich, right? But he hasn't been doing that. So like, it's like hypocritical to say, hey, I'm gonna charge the rich, but then after you get elected, you're not charging the rich. You're like making it harder on the poor. So,
and he's not going to do it because a rich person, and I can guarantee you, a rich person was the one that helped his campaign. He's not going to bite, like they have the saying that says, "Don't bite the hand that fed you." Mm-hmm. He's not going to do it. Also, I have to do more research on him, but I don't know if he has businesses. I'm wondering if he does, but if he does, most likely a rich person is, helping him. So there's no way. So it's kind of hard. And then based on his background, he's very wealthy. So it's kind of hard for him to say, I'm going to support someone who's poor if he doesn't know what is it like to be poor, what is it like to be a middle class. It's hard. And then what I notice with people is, when they don't have power, they act one way. When they have power or money, they act different. So maybe he was trying to be honest, but then along the way he got blind, and there he goes. Or maybe he was just doing that to get more votes, because I also notice a lot of people go with the person.
I believe it's the latter. I believe it was just to convince people to trick him and to vote for him, right? That's what I believe.
Yeah, because anybody can say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, for example, I'm against the governor of Michigan. She said, and this was exactly her words, that she said, I'm going to fix these damn roads. That was her slogan. I don't see the roads fixed.
All right, so switching from Joe Biden, I think we talked about that. Switching to Donald Trump now. What do you think about him?
To be honest, Donald Trump is always a business person. The only thing that I can say positive about Donald Trump, and that's the only thing I can say positive, is that he stayed true to his nature. So before he was in politics, he was always the way how you see him now. In my opinion, I see him as a douche.
Okay.
He was always like that before politics, so that's the only thing I'm just positive I'm going to give him. He still stayed the same. He didn't change. He didn't change. His greed and everything was still there. So that's the only thing positive I'm going to give to him. But to be honest, I felt that he was the most unprofessional guy that needed training. So because I feel, again, because he has resources, because he has the money and he has the connections, because of the money, he was able to get the position he got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I felt that was very unprofessional. Him putting everything on Twitter. Come on, we're talking about politics. We're not gossiping about movie stars. That should not be up there. That if you had an issue with an anchor lady, okay, be a man and you call her. Don't put it on Twitter. You had an issue with so and so at the Senate or whoever you fired from the White House. Don't put it on Twitter. I felt like every time I went on Twitter because I was curious, and I even went on Twitter to see his account. I felt that it was TMZ, but for the politics. That's what I felt like. Yeah, I really felt like this was TMZ. So I would tell my friends, "Hey, you guys like politics a lot, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Go to Donald Trump's account on Twitter. This is the new version of the TMZ right there, but for politics." So because it seemed like you couldn't say nothing good, you couldn't say nothing bad, nothing, because he will post it all over Twitter. That to me is a high risk to the country. That's a security risk. He should not have been doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that shows the maturity level that he has. So someone who's mature don't do that. I don't see no other of what I heard of. I never heard of no president that goes on Twitter or Facebook and be put it in public, every little thing that they didn't like. I felt like he was crying.
Mm-hmm.
Like how a kid cries because he doesn't get a lollipop. That's how I felt he was doing, but with words. Yeah. Every time he didn't get his way. And then the other thing that I didn't like about him too was about he was complaining about how they're talking about the racism and all that. Okay, well, if you don't want people to see you as racist, then why do you do or act things that portray to be a racism?
It's kind of like what they say, right? Don't do things that seem bad, right? Don't do good things that seem bad, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing. And also what I didn't like either was about his wife. There was a speech that she took that came from Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So only certain things Donald Trump did I like, but a lot of the stuff I didn't. It's kind of hard to actually say, oh, I really like this person 100%. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. Also, the thing of what happened in the Capitol, I hate to say this, I can't put all the blame on Donald Trump.
Right.
This is why. There's no proof that. Well, they try to say there's proof. And my opinion to this is that he just riled them up. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not the only. He wasn't the only president that did that. There were certain things that Obama said too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't enough to rile people up. It just depends. Most of the people that were there, they when I did research, some of them was really racist. So there is a lot of racist people here in the United States. I also heard there's that group that's called the KKK. I feel that group should be banned from the United States. You gotta be careful
when you talk about them because YouTube is censorship police. Like they censor you for certain things. So.
And that too, that I feel that's controlled too. So I feel like that group should be banned completely.
Yeah.
That should not be. I don't understand how they're here. That should be gone. And then there's other groups that I found out here in the United States that should not be here in the United States because I feel that doesn't fit our quota.
All right, so here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. There's a video that I saw on YouTube of Joe Biden, and he said that he is mad at Americans for complaining about the price inflation, and I'm like, hello, like you guys are the ones that are raising the taxes. You guys are the ones that are raising the prices, like, right? So
We
like,
didn't ask for it.
exactly, we
So
didn't ask for it. So like, first of all, we're complaining because we never asked for it. Like, and they blame it on Ukraine and Russia and all stuff, but this has nothing to do with us, right? It's just
but it was before, but it was, see, this is what gets me upset. Before Ukraine and Russia, they blamed it on the COVID.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then they said Ukraine, and then they said that they cut the oil from Russia. Okay, well, we never took Russia's oil 100%. We have oil in Iraq that we took.
Mm-hmm.
We have oil here in the United States.
Right.
What a convenient. And to me, I feel that they're doing this on purpose for the same simple fact that they want to separate the rich from the poor, and they want to get rid of middle class, because
Yeah.
this was actually, I'm trying to remember what year, but we did have inflation throughout the years, but it wasn't as fast as this one. This one, they're really trying to make it harder,
Mm-hmm.
and they're hitting us at all directions, because before it used to be gas prices. I don't know if you remember, when we first went to war with Iraq, the gas was expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was growing up, I remember seeing gas at $1.72, the most expensive $2, and then when the war started, okay, now we saw $4, $3.
Actually, now that I think about it, every time a president, and when it's the election year, the prices rise. And also, you said that there's a war all the time. Like every time it's election year, there's a war.
Also, what a coincidence! Every election year, there's always a disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of people forgot about the swine flu. They forgot about that. I forgot the disease after. Ebola, it was something else. They forgot all about that. And it seems like every election there's something. And I feel that I'm trying not to get like too critical about it, but I'm thinking that's just something that the government's doing to just move our eyes away from what's really happening. As a distraction. To be honest, I felt the COVID was a distraction. Yes, it killed people. It breaks my heart that happened. It should never happen. I feel who's responsible is the government, 100%. I heard that in China, it started in China. Okay, you're telling me the United States that talks to all these countries did not know how bad the disease was? They knew how bad it was. They just didn't want to do a public panic, so they didn't say nothing. So you allowed all these innocent people to die just because you covered it. That's how I feel. And I'm angry about it because I lost a lot of friends who are my age, young, and they don't have health problems. And they died because of a disease that we didn't know. And so it got me upset that I found out and did research that the disease actually did not start in January. The disease was somewhere around, I want to say around November in China. But they didn't announce it to the public until, I want to say, almost in March. Because it spread it really fast. And to me, that was unfair. They should have alerted us that, okay, as travelers, because here in the United States, we like to travel. If you're going to go to China, go to so-and-so, be aware, there's this disease. And then us as Americans would have took we've been like, oh, we'll do this, do that, try to be safe. But no, I felt like they just did it on purpose. To me, that's not fair.
Yeah, that's true. All right, something else that you said that I really I really agree on is that you said that the Democrats always are trying to screw everyone over, or that they're trying to tax the poor, and that Republicans, they're not. It's not that they're perfect or whatever. They also they support small businesses. So as Democrats, as President Biden, he is now taxing the poor, and then businesses are shutting down, and a lot of people are going homeless now because of the prices on this stuff. So, what do you think?
I still stand by that. I still feel the Democrats always supported the rich. The Republicans, I don't like all their policies, but what I do know about the Republican, they do support the little guy no matter what. That's what they stand by. So the Republican is what they call their average, hardworking American
Hmm.
who's trying to make it out. They help.
Do you believe?
Democrat, um,
Do you
I
believe?
always felt Democrat just take.
Hmm. Do you
So
believe both
yeah.
of them are bad? Like both of them are bad.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to say it, but
No,
because
I
I know a
agree.
lot of people, there's people.
Yeah.
Because this is why I say that it's bad. I understand there's a lot of good stuff that Republicans do. There's some stuff that's like kind of, to me it's bad.
Hmm.
And Democrat, I have nothing positive with them.
Yeah.
But the reason why I say it's bad because I feel they're dividing our nation.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
We should
I
be
agree.
united.
Yeah.
And I thought it was ridiculous where you see some Americans that say, "I'm not going to be your friend because you're Republican. I'm not going to be your
Hmm.
friend because you're
It's the
Democratic."
same thing with
No,
racial,
and
right?
no, it should not be like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Same thing with the
Or
racial
because you're
division.
an
Yeah.
independent. So and yeah, so I learned to step away because I used to be really into it, but I started. The more I learned, the more I started disliking. I kind of stepped down.
Yeah. And I agree. The same thing with racial division, right? The thing that happened in 2020, the riots, and all that stuff. People were like
Hmm.
going crazy because of this and that, right? Because of George Floyd and all that stuff. There's certain things I can't say. Got to
Hmm.
be careful what I say in YouTube. But the things that racial division, blacks versus whites and whatever, and then left versus right or whatever, all that stuff, all those like that stuff. Yes, absolutely agree. Division.
Yeah, it has to stop because I feel that racism shouldn't even exist no more. We're in a country that was not funded by one culture, by lots of
Right.
them. We should not be being like, "Oh, you're Indian. Oh, we don't want you. Oh, you're Caucasian. We don't want." No, no, no. We should be coming together because if we come together as a team, I feel that we wouldn't just make our communities better, but also our country.
Yeah.
And because all of us speak, there's a lot of people in this country here in the United States that speak different languages, have different customs, have different ways of planting. If we can take advantage of this opportunity and not judge based on religion, politics, because of their
Right.
color, and just see them as human beings, I think that makes us stronger. But I feel that I hate to say this, but I feel that the government has something to do with this because if all of us come united, I think we'll be dangerous.
Yeah, for them, right? Because
Yeah, for
there's
them
yeah,
because we'll be united.
yeah. Because there's the George Soros, there's the Joe Bidens, there's the Donald Trumps, there's the Nancy Pelosi, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. All those politicians,
Hmm.
all they want to do is divide and rile
Yep.
people up, and not like Q said. So yeah.
Yeah. So I feel that if we didn't fall for all of that and we come together as a team, I think they would be worried because they wouldn't have so much control of us, and then there'll be more questions.
Hmm.
They'll be like, "Hey, why are we doing this? Why are you doing it? Why are you not spending our money correctly? Why is this
Right.
school got all the money in this?" I also think that there's I also feel that government wants to keep the poor people poor, and I
Yeah.
can give you an example. I can actually give you a good example. I grew up in Detroit.
Hmm.
I went to college,
Yeah.
and all this stuff that I learned in school did
Hmm.
not help me at all for college.
Hmm.
That's how far behind the schools are in Detroit.
The secular.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and now if you go to the suburbs, I got upset that they had a better chance. So to me, right there, the government is already trying to separate, trying to keep the poor poor. The ones in the suburbs, those are the ones that might be your senators, your governors, your doctors,
Hmm.
and that's not right.
Right.
It's not right. We should, because here in this country, it's called equal opportunity. I don't see the equality.
Right.
Also, they try to talk about. I'm against abortion, but they try to talk about women's rights.
Hmm.
Okay, you're saying it's our right to abort. Okay, but it's, in my opinion, based on my religion, it is not. It's very incorrect. But I feel as a woman, we need to talk about topics about equal pay,
Hmm.
about sexual harassment, about discrimination of our gender. discrimination of like how no matter what position we get, we can be governor, we can be president, whatever. We're always seen as a sex object in one way or another. Why aren't we talking about how to put a stop to that? I don't appreciate media, and I there's actually I gotta find I read about this about um artists, certain artists. So if you're a guy, you'll have women dressed half naked, wearing the booty shorts and everything.
Yeah.
But the woman has no choice. I for years thought, oh, they chose to dress like that. No, the men make them dress like that so they can make sales on the music. That's not right. And
Well,
so
the
they're trying
media,
to say that women
right,
has, you know, where's our rights, you know?
right.
And so to me, I feel like that's degrading. Now I understand that the woman likes to dress like that, okay, but if you get someone like me that don't feel comfortable, but I know I have to dress
Yeah.
like that because I need the money, that's where I think that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, what you said, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's the media. The media has it's at fault for that, showing girls, showing teenagers how to like music by like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, whatever other rapper, Little Kim or whatever. These women, rappers, whatever you want to call them, have taught these women how to dress in a certain way, how to act in a certain way. This is the media's fault. This is music entertainment's
Yeah.
fault. This is why
And
they're. This is why women end up pregnant as a teenager. Like this is why, right? They're at fault. Media is at fault. The government is at fault, right?
Yeah, and then the thing that I don't understand about this too, and it also plays in the government. I always tell people politics is a man world, not a woman world, because I'll use the governor of Michigan as an example. She was making she was talking about something about what was going on for the COVID, right? It seems like that went out of the air, and the next day, and I started laughing because I knew this was going to happen because I told my mom. She wore a dress that looked a little bit too fitted around her breasts. She wasn't showing them. It's just she happened to have big breasts. Apparently that was the problem. But they weren't paying attention what was coming out of her mouth. Well, if a man wears a suit, it can be fitted. Oh, nothing's wrong. Or if it's a little wrinkly, nothing wrong. Why is it with a woman? To me, she was well dressed. She wasn't showing nothing. She was dressed professional. But just because they felt that her breasts felt like they announced out more, that that they were criticizing her, and that to me has a lot of play with media and government because that has to stop.
Right.
And that's why I don't understand this thing of the woman right, and that's why I'm like, so they say women right is an abortion. In my opinion, anything that has a life, that's no one's right to take it away. Only the person who created it. That's how I feel. So that's why I was like, with that, we don't have nothing. I think our women rights should be how media is preceding women, how we need to put a stop to that, how politics is more men-based and not women-based. It should be equal. And how women, like if we raise our voice, we're considered, and regardless of what kind of education we have, starting from the person that doesn't have none until the person who have all the PhDs. Oh, this woman has no sense. But if a man does it, he's of power. That has to stop too.
Yeah.
And so I feel the government does that on purpose. That's another way of dividing. And what gets me upset, I feel like they're doing it on purpose. Like I really feel that that's all on that there's a reason behind it. We just don't know it yet, but I know there's a reason behind this. Because like for example, the inflation, that was ridiculous. There was a reason behind it, and I still think it's going to get worse. Like the gas prices are going up.
Yeah.
The schools are getting limited funding for the poor schools. It gets me upset that they don't get all the books that they need. The teachers are underpaid. It's rare that you find a passionate teacher.
Right.
And the government knows this. They do it on purpose, and they put teachers that don't care about the students teaching. And all of that has to stop. I just think government. That's why I just stopped believing in government. In my opinion, I think they're just no good.
Yeah.
I don't, and I feel horrible saying this because a lot of people that probably would hear my what I'm saying, they're probably going to say, "Oh, I'm crazy." But to be honest, I think people should question themselves and say, "Did the government really do something for you? If they did, leave it in the comments. I want to see because for me, it didn't
Right.
do anything.
Hmm. Yeah.
All I see is division."
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And
Absolutely. There's a meme that I got here on Google that says left wing or right wing. We're all part of the same bird.
hmm
It's a meme that I have here. So yeah.
well, yeah, it's very true. But the problem is that I understand where you're coming from with that, but a lot of people don't see it like that. And I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Like I feel like if you're Republican, they want to make you, oh, you can only talk to Republicans, hang out with Republicans. That's all. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a Democrat, you got to be 100% Democrat. I know Democrats personally who don't like abortion, but they just like Democrat rules,
Mm-hmm.
except for abortion. And then I know some who like Republicans, but certain rules they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that right there, it's telling you you can't be all left, you can't be all right. You're together in some way or form.
No, I don't think that's what it's saying. I think it's saying is that it's all a part of the system, system which is a corrupt system. That's what I feel like. That's what it
No, no,
means.
I know the system is very corrupt.
Yeah. Um.
And
Yeah.
like for example, I don't like when people say this either. And I tell people when people say a country can be corrupted, that would be the number one country that is corrupted. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
yeah, I feel that America has been corrupted. The problem with us is that I feel that the United States covers it up well. The reason why I say we're corrupted is because if you look based on our history, we didn't really do anything good.
Yeah.
Certain things we did, but certain things we didn't. Like for example, a lot of people, there's some Americans today that don't understand that the Americans took the lands from the natives.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a good thing, and
Right.
they only gave them a portion of what we took. For
Yeah.
them to be on the reservation, and I think that's unfair.
Yeah.
Um, they don't talk about what happened to Mexico and Texas and California, New Mexico, the parts that they took. They don't talk about the rich people, the rich Mexicans lost everything because America has a grid system. Mexico didn't. They had an honor
Right.
system where they'll say, this tree is yours.
Yeah.
What Americans do took everything away,
There,
and they were no longer rich.
yeah. There's actually I remember I was in college and I was taking a history U.S. history course, and I remember that they I think the United States took some states from Canada and obviously from Mexico because of Texas and Arizona. It's all states in California, but I remember
hmm
that it said on the textbook it said I don't agree with everything like mainstream schooling says, especially the textbooks. I don't believe in what it says in textbooks, but what they says it says in when I remember that this line is said in textbook. It said that it was God's will for them to take the land, for them to take as much land as possible, and that's like the white men's belief, right? Back then.
Well, that's because back in the day, because you also got to remember that the year back in the day, a lot of people like to throw the word God, the
Mm-hmm.
name out a lot.
Yeah.
The reason why was because if you didn't, um, we're talking about like you can be accused of witchery. You had to,
Mm-hmm.
so they, but it wasn't the correct way. God wouldn't want you to steal this land
Or
from
killing people,
somebody
right?
because
Genocide.
there's war. He wouldn't want that. And plus
Right.
they killed a lot of people. He doesn't want to see us like as his children killing each other for a piece of dirt. He
Right.
wouldn't want that. And then also the same thing when they first came to the United States, a lot of people forgot about this. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't come to the United States to explore. They left them here to die.
Mm-hmm.
Because the prisons got too full in England. So what did they do? They said, the priest gave them a blessing and said if it and God will you'll live, if not then you'll die.
Right.
Because they didn't know how to plant. They didn't. The natives taught them a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I felt like that was like betrayal. And so, and the way I understood history, the people, the first Americans that came here, those are the beliefs
Mm-hmm.
that I feel that made this country
Right.
with the Constitution, the Declaration, all of that. And I feel that has to change because when I look at the laws, some of them have too many loopholes. Some of them, I feel it's a convenience. You have to have money. It's not right. It's too much division. And like if back in the day it was very divided, what they made it worse now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is that most of us don't we don't have the same views that we did back in the 1800s. Our views changed,
Yeah.
expanded a lot.
Yeah. Significantly, yes.
Um and then our culture too, because back in the day a lot of people were very
Mm-hmm.
very customary. We some of us are still we still have a lot of traditions that we still keep, but we're still open to learn more. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we want to know why you do this, why you do that. Back in the day, that was not even that was not even in the conversation.
Right. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So before we finish up, I actually I had two things I wanted to add. Price
okay.
inflation. I got another picture here that says oil prices and U.S. inflation. It is one of the worst it's been in the last 20 years, I believe. So it's one of the worst. I think the worst, well, a little less was like 2008. That was when the recession came, right? And then we obviously talked about the economic recession and that how it possibly may be coming also, um,
Mhm.
in a very near future because of how prices are sky high, pretty much. So yeah.
But to be honest about that one, I don't think the recession ever ended because if you actually paid attention when it did happen in 2008, the prices were still pricey. It never changed.
Mm-hmm.
The
True.
only difference was I felt it was more in the gas price.
Yeah.
It wasn't in food and everything,
Yeah.
um but if you look at the stocks and that, it's still not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. And so yeah, I feel that we were always in recession. We just didn't feel it yet. Now we're
Yeah.
feeling it because they're not just raising it on the gas anymore. They're raising it on the food, on
Yeah.
anything of food. If you have
Yeah.
pets, I was shocked that 15 cans cost $24 of
Yeah.
dog food. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I actually went to the grocery shopping last night, and it cost $100 just to get the basic things like milk, eggs, like bread, all that stuff. Like it was like $100 just to get anything that you need.
Yeah, like I remember before the food prices went up with $50, me and my husband had enough. I freaked out when I went to the store and we spent $300 and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I started and we didn't even have a shopping cart, not even halfway with groceries. It was only a couple items.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like apart from the groceries, like the shampoo, everything, like it seems like even our good products, cans and everything is going up, and
Mm-hmm.
it really hurts me and it bothers me in a way that you have no idea because we're supposed to be this great country, and I feel that the government really failed its people big time.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. I feel both parties really
Yeah.
did fail their people big
Yeah.
time on
Yeah.
because a lot of people are getting hurt, and like you said, they are becoming homeless.
Yeah.
A lot of people are complaining that there's homeless people, right?
Yeah.
Well, now the little bit of homeless that you normally see, well, now multiply that by a couple of thousands because I think that's what's going to happen
Yeah.
because mortgage prices are going to go up
Mm-hmm.
because tax prices are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, don't even get me started on that. I still say car insurance is a scam. I, I still say it is. Because that's a whole different topic. But I know there's still scams. Health insurance is going very expensive. What gets me upset, doctors get paid so much money. Can't they tell the doctors, can't you take a pay cut? I was amazed when I found out a doctor makes almost, depending on what they study,
Yeah.
between 2 to 600,000. Are you kidding me? Can't you
Yeah.
take a pay cut to help the people? so their medical won't be that expensive. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it was a minimum of 100,000. A minimum, I think it was that they got.
Yeah, that's yeah, and it depends what they studied, and it depends how much
Yeah,
experience. But yeah, I was very upset about that because I'm like, okay, you guys are living way more than comfortable, and the
hmm
ones who barely can afford $60. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this country it sucks because and it was never like that, and it's getting me upset because I just got notified yesterday, and I hate saying this, that a lot of people who work in like steel factories, their job might be on the line
yeah,
because there's a steel shortage.
yeah. Everything, yeah, everything's going short. It's shortages and everything's going up. Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's really getting me upset because um people, like, I don't know for how long this is gonna last, but people are gonna be panicking
yeah.
because they're not gonna find jobs. They're gonna struggle, and it gets me upset because I feel like the government, they're already secure. I feel like they have a plan for them, but for the rest of us, where is it?
hmm Yeah.
And so
hmm
so yeah, that's how I feel.
All right. So finish up. I just wanted to go into how well. First of all, it is history tends to repeat itself, right? So there's I don't know if you remember King Nebuchadnezzar from the Bible in the book of Daniel. There's
Yes.
him, and then I think he was a king of I forgot the country where he was country over. I think it was Babylon, or I don't know.
Hmm.
And then it was Persia, the Persian Empire. That's the so the head of gold is King Nebuchadnezzar's country, where it was ruling over, and then it was breast and arms of silver, which is the Persians, right? Then the belly and
Yes.
thighs of brass, which is the Greeks, I believe, or Macedonia, something like that. And then legs of iron, the great Roman Empire, which is Jesus' time, I believe. I'm not too sure. And then the feet and toes are part iron and part clay. That's like the governments that was back then, right? So
Yes.
at one point in time, there's Romans, Greeks, Persians, Macedonians, all those like countries. They all became corrupt. I feel like that's the same thing in the United States. It may have like started with good principles or whatever, or good values, I guess. But it now it's ending up to be very corrupt. Like right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with you 100% because if you look in our dollar bills, regardless of which dollar bill it is, it says "In God We Trust," right?
Mhm.
Well, God wouldn't want what's happening now, and he's probably angry about all the division because at one point we were a team, now we're all divided,
Mhm.
and I feel that that I feel that that has a lot to do with the agreed because if you look throughout our whole
Yeah.
history, regardless in which country it is, the moment you give somebody a little bit too much power, it's
Yeah.
like the power goes to their brain, or a little bit too much money,
It goes into
they
yeah.
forget. Yeah, and so I think that's what happened.
I guess to you. Yeah.
And I don't think that one person should be ruling like how they do the president. I think because I think that's too much power. I think it should have been broken down into multiple peoples.
Yeah.
Um, so that I feel that would be better because put it all on one guy. I think that's way too much power,
Mm.
and I even understand why they did that because it has something to do with when they say how men is the head of the household, so there's only one who rules.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I think they took it a little bit too far. I think in politics they shouldn't have based it like that. I think they should have did it more like, um, since us people have the right to vote, we should have had the right of how the government should have been formed.
Right.
Like I don't know if I'm explaining
Mhm.
myself, but like I feel like it shouldn't have been just leave it all on one guy.
Mhm. Well, thank
It
you
should
so
have
much
been more.
for speaking here. I honestly I thought you were gonna say no at first, but I'm glad you actually said yes. So thank you for so much for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Whenever
Appreciate
you
it.
want to have me on, just let me know. I don't mind. I like having these discussions because, like what I told you, I lost a lot of friends just voicing my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be our right to,
Yeah.
voice our opinion.
Yeah, like I said, like people don't like why do you talk about politics and religion? What else are you going to talk about? Like what is there? It's the most important stuff to talk about.
I know
Right.
because, like, for example, I'm not into all that gossip with the celebrities. Once in a while, with certain things, I am,
Uh-huh.
but and then you can only talk so much about the cars because I like the cars, which I like the auto show, but there's not a lot of talk. I feel that the main important thing that we should be talking about is religion, how it impacts us, what's
Yeah.
going, and politics because politics have a lot to do too.
Yeah.
Not with religion, but with what's going on because that's why I'm starting to see it as a bad thing of even having politics. I understand having government is supposed to keep us in order.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is it really keeping us in order or is it just making you guys richer? I think we're just making them rich
Mm-hmm.
and making them powerful. And then without us knowing it, I feel like we're hurting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's not right. That's why I said whenever you want to have me on here, I'm open.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll keep you to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have a wonderful day.
You too. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining in to this conversation. I had a really great time talking to my friend here, and she was amazing. She talked about really, really great points, really solid points. Most of the stuff that she said, I really agree with. So she was really solid on that. I wanted to get on here because she had an education background on political science and all that stuff, politics and all that stuff, and I really wanted to get into this because of what we went through in the corrupt system and all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and if you guys haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I'll be trying to upload weekly videos on here, and so yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.